Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is How Can You Find True Balance in Your Life? And I know when a lot of us think about balance, we think about working out, we think about eating well, we think about sleep, and we also think about stress. And all these things are important to have a balanced life. But you can do all of these things and still lack true balance in your life. And the two aspects that are missing from this group is the balance between your outer world and your inner world, which leads you to the second one, which is the authenticity that you live with. Because there are certain things that are within us that if we are not true to, that we are not aligned, that we're not listening, that we're not following, our balance could be more on the surface than it is within our heart and within our soul, which is imperative for the harmony and the alignment that we all look for. And this has become very apparent to me in my life, as I shared on the last podcast, that I have shingles and I actually got it in my face, which has been extremely painful, and it's been a long recovery. And I've been thinking a lot about what led me to get sick. And yes, I was in the hospital with my mom, but I started to think about all the things that I do right in my life: the eating, the sleeping, the reduction of stress, with maybe my exercise could always be better. And yes, for those days I wasn't as balanced when I was taking care of my mom. But I also noticed over the last 5 weeks that I was dictating my speed and my energy level and what my inner world needed more than what the outer world was asking of me. And it came to me that since my husband left about 8 years ago, I've been trying to overcome. And yes, I've had a wonderful run and I've had a wonderful achievements, but I think there was some kind of disconnect of me running the energy I need, that I need to run on where I am my best self. And I think some of us, because we're so smart or highly productive, or we think we can handle everything, we don't realize that we think because we're getting outer success, it doesn't mean that our inner world is completely successful, completely balanced. And we don't realize that if there was more space, it would be a more balanced success. It could even be more success in a lot of ways of gratification, of joy, and also allowing things to come to us too. Yes, if we chase 1,000 things, we will catch up to some of them, but we ourselves fall behind. And when we fall behind, we do kind of disconnect also from the second piece, the authenticity. I think when the outside world becomes so loud, we lose a sense of ourselves. Even if we're somebody that's opinionated, even if we're someone that's strong, we lose a piece of our heart. And our heart and our gut always tells us where to go, what we want. The outer world could give us money and success and glitter and all those things. But when we lose a piece of ourselves, it's hard to sustain. It's more fleeting. We're not as grounded. We're not as steady. And our steadiness and our authenticity is where we have the most longevity in the outer world, where we're most in truth, where we're not compromised. So there's no place really that can knock us down in a lot of ways because of the solidness we have inside ourselves. And I think a lot of us, between the demands of our family, our children, our work, the outer world rings so loud that as much as we do for ourselves on the outside world or even in our body, there's a place that's so deep within us that needs taking care of as well. So with that said, how can we do this? And the first thing is we really do need to have moments where we slow down. If you're waking up in the morning, you're jumping out of bed, you're looking at your phone, you're listening to music, you're running to work, you're dealing with your kids, you miss that space. And I know it's hard sometimes because there are so many demands and you do need your sleep. But there has to be moments throughout the day that are silent, that are quiet. You put your hand on your heart and you breathe and you feel that rhythm and you return to it. you would be really surprised that you can do your work in a calmer rhythm on the inside and have the same output. But because you're more grounded and you're more peaceful, you're going to react better to everybody around you and connect with your greater wisdom while that's happening. So again, throughout the day, if you can, find a couple of minutes every hour, or when you take a walk, silence, not listening to music, not being on the phone, not eating. Put your hand on your heart. Sometimes I like to put my other hand on my rib cage or on my stomach, and I just breathe and I feel how my being wants to naturally be. And the more you could stick to that rhythm, the more grounded you will be throughout the day, and you will be more balanced because you're not moving quicker than the vibration and the energy of how your body naturally operates. It's like your operating system. And the second thing is, every time you quiet down, you are going back to yourself. So you're going to feel the difference. Sometimes life is moving so quickly, we can't even tell the difference between the outer world and the inner world. We are just one with the situation. What's ever happening, we're feeling it. We're in it. We're not observing it. And when we do that, other people's moods affect us more. What's ever going on in the outside world, we just follow it. We just follow that thought. We follow that feeling. We could actually lose a sense of self. And sometimes if things aren't going right, we end up in a state of fear. Or if things not going the way we want, we lose our confidence. So it's almost that we lose our compass and who we truly are in it. So through the quietness, you will feel more of who you are. And sometimes what's so interesting is you can anchor yourself also with things that are beyond the situations and the experiences. Sometimes, even if I'm in a quiet state, I'll think about the sky, I'll think about the ground, think about the trees, think about things that are beyond your daily experiences, that are always the same no matter what. That's what your authenticity is. That's what your natural energy is. That's what your spirit is. The truth of who you are is always the same. So yes, this has been a very challenging time for me, but it's also been a reset because my energy, although I was doing all these wonderful things, it needed more balance within. And I needed to reset and rededicate. And I do it several times a day. And I hope you give this a try because the outside world is not you. The outside world will never stop demanding. It'll never stop asking. And as quick as you can go, it'll ask you to go quicker. It is the most demanding thing. And yes, it could be very exciting, but you could also do it while honoring your balance. At the end of the day, you feel whole, you feel grounded, you feel joyous because you gave the amount of energy that you had and not more. That's what happens. The outside world over-asks and we overdo. But if we could regulate our energy and our emotions and take that time and we decide our pace in the world, we decide how quickly we're going to move, how quickly we're going to breathe, how quickly we're going to speak. We make that decision, then we honor our own rhythm. And if you honor your own rhythm, you will always connect back to your truth, your authenticity, your desire. And then all that noise, the fear, the demands, the things you don't want, the things that people say, they don't mean as much because you're connected with your anchor. And maybe with more balance and more peace within us, we create that more in the outer world. And for all we know, maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to my podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe, A Year Without Men, Maybe Everything's Okay, A Parent's Guide to Less Stress and Worry, they're available in all major bookstores and online retailers. If you'd like to buy my Maybe cards, they are back on Amazon, or you could buy them on Etsy. And most of all, if you like this podcast, I hope you subscribe and leave a comment.